Fall for Me TV. This fall on Me TV, Remington Steele.
It's definitely an emergency.
Oh yeah, also Emergency.
Please stay with me.
And more familiar faces.
You act like I've never been on television before.
Me TV continues to deliver the shows you remember.
I remember.
And you may discover shows you've never seen before.
Is that a threat?
Fall for Me TV. For a complete schedule, go to metvnetwork.com.
Hello, I'm John Malos and welcome to Connect with Me. This is one of those programs I'd like to warn you, pre-warn you now, set your DVR because you'll want to replay it over and over and over again. A very important topic today. We're talking about the privatization of garbage, something that may affect you and your pocketbook. So set your VCR. Coming up as my guest, George Hostetter, one of the most respected reporters and journalists in the industry for the Fresno Bee. Back in just a moment.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
As mentioned, one of the most important programs that we've done because this could affect you and your family and your pocketbook, your finances, so you might want to set your DVR here for the next 30 minutes, and if you're watching in the morning and miss it, you miss recording it, that is, you can always watch it or record it at 7:30 because we want to get to the nitty-gritty of this situation with the privatizing of garbage, and we do have a guest in today, but you know, I want you to mark down a date that's very important. That is November the 29th. It's a Thursday. That's when the council will decide on what to do about the privatizing of garbage. That's the information on the screen that you're looking at right now. The council is going to vote on the resolution of intent. That's the key word, to award the contract to a private company. A company, in fact, that will come by and pick up the garbage at your home. As of now, it looks as though the council will vote in favor of that resolution, the intent. The next two dates are crucial. December the 6th and December the 13th, that's when the first and second reading of the ordinance will take place, which means it has to be read and then approved, of course, the final time. Once that is done, service to pick up your garbage at your home, in front of your home, will begin on March the 4th of next year. Let's go to the videotape and I'll show you what I'm talking about. As of now, as I speak, residential garbage is currently being picked up by the city of Fresno, but some who work in the sanitation department are up in arms about the possibility of privatizing. Why, you ask? They claim the quality of service will decrease, rates will go up for customers, and many might in fact will lose their jobs and not be rehired by the private company that takes over the service. Not only that, some of the union members believe this is nothing more than a money grab by the mayor, who wants to close the budget gap, which is about $4 to $5 million this next fiscal year. That's because the sanitation department has roughly $16 million in their reserve fund, and some city leaders want to put their hands on that money. In our studio right now is George Hostetter of the Fresno Bee. He covers politics for the paper. He is here to tell us what's going on behind the scenes and what the outcome of this might be. By the way, no phone calls on the program today. This program was taped last week. George is here because he's on assignment this Monday for the Fresno Bee on another story. We appreciate him coming in today and talking about this very, very important topic that will affect you, your family, and your finances. Back with George Hostetter in just a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the low-price leading brands reliable advice place. The Whirlpool Dream Kitchen Get Yours Today place. Check this out. Right now, get huge savings on select Whirlpool appliances and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
All right, we're back here with George Hostetter. Good to see you again, George.
John, thanks for having me on.
Hey, I appreciate it very much. So this Monday, today is Monday, you're on assignment somewhere else, but you're actually here. This is a tape program. What story are you on assignment for the Bee?
Well, on Monday, the Housing Authority is going to hold a, I guess in essence, a ribbon cutting ceremony at Santa Clara and G Street, which is the Renaissance at Santa Clara. It is a 72-unit apartment complex right across from the Poverello House that it will be sites of permanent housing for chronic homeless individuals.
So this is kind of the grand opening.
Grand opening, and it's the centerpiece of a growing policy of Mayor Ashley Swearingen and Preston Prince, Executive Director of the Housing Authority, and other people concerned about this issue of getting housing for the chronically homeless. And it's about a $20 million project. I've been through it when it was almost done. It's most impressive, and so I'll be covering the grand opening and taking a tour.
Hey, I appreciate that. We'll talk about the homeless in a second. I want to get to the garbage thing, a very important topic, and as is the homeless. All these issues that we're going to talk about today, very important to us and to our city here. What do you make of this garbage situation? It seems so convoluted. One side is saying one thing, the city is saying another. No, the rates are going to go down. The union leaders are saying, no, the rates are going to go up. It's a money grab. I don't know what to make of it, George.
Well, you bring up a good point, and I chat with folks on both sides of this issue to, as you and I do as journalists, how do you compress it so that this issue makes sense to the average Fresnan? And in essence, if I may summarize for the two sides, it comes down to two themes. Those against outsourcing say, you know, John, it's not broken. Why fix it? Their point is residential trash collection now done by city workers. The rates are very low compared to other communities around here. It's an award-winning division. No one disputes that. Everyone's happy with it.
They're making money.
You know, at least they're covering the bills, and
right.
You know, they don't make the money, but because they're
but they have a trust fund, and the rates are reasonable.
They have reserve, right? $25 is typically about $25 a month. So, you know, why fix it?
Right?
Why fix it? What's the big deal? And of course, those who support outsourcing, they go, okay, give me your Plan B, and their point about Plan B is. And they make a very convincing case, as the opponents, that for a variety of reasons, City Hall is broke. And there are a number of services that only City Hall can provide. Police protection, fire protection, in essence, parks. And we need cash that we've been cutting for 3 or 4 years. We've laid off through attrition or layoffs 25% of our workforce, and if we don't get more cash, more revenue, we may not make payroll come the spring. And of course, you have 3,000 paychecks bouncing. That's going to be news.
That'll be on the front page of the Bee.
Yes, that'll be topic A on your program. So the idea is outsourcing can be done by the private sector. Police protection can't.
Yeah.
And that the private sector will pay a franchise fee of approximately $2.5 million a year net to the general fund, and we need the money. And give me your Plan B. If you don't want the $2.5 million, fine, but give me your Plan B. And coming up with a Plan B at this day and age, short of some type of a tax increase, pretty hard. So that's where you have the conflict. Okay, on one hand, it's not broke, why fix it? On the other hand, give me Plan B, and it boils down to those two competing themes.
So if the city is looking to outsource because they are hurting for money, does that assure us for sure that the rates will go up because they want to make money? The private company wants to make money and they'll get more from the franchise fee? Or no?
Well, I guess one is there are no assurances. Life is full of twists and turns, but the pro-outsourcing folks say the deal on the table now, Mid-Valley Disposal has written into the contract 2 years of guaranteed rate decreases. Now it's still a little bit squishy as to what they would be, but they would be 2 digits, 10, 12, 14, 15%. Numbers
Yeah.
are thrown around.
Right.
And 2 years of guaranteed rate reductions, what's not bad. Of course, on the other side, they go, well, what happens if after 6 months the sky falls and they go, we need a rate increase or we're out of business and you're going to have to go get George Hostetter to pick it up.
Yeah.
And, you know, who knows what the future holds.
I want to put on the screen our council members against privatizing. They include, of course, you can look at the sheet there, Oliver Baines, of course, Blong Jong, and Sal Quintero. He represents this area here where Ventura TV is. Now, these 3 council members are against privatizing because why?
Well, to boil it down, it's not broke, why fix it? And that is the essence of it. They too are skeptical about whether or not rates will stay at they are now or reduced. They too realize the pressures on a private company on rates. They're not against profit. Now, you know, there's some element of this discussion in which profit is a dirty word. Now, that's not a dirty word with these 3 council members because they realize that profits in the private sector are what pay the taxes to keep City Hall open.
Now, those 3 council members that we just showed held town hall meetings in regards to garbage. You went to 2 of those town hall meetings. What was the response from the residents?
Those town hall meetings, John, were fascinating as drama, as democracy in action.
Were they in favor or against?
Well, largely. The first one was with Council Member Baines at the Hinton Center, and that was more well attended than Sal's a couple of nights ago. But yeah, largely against. But you would almost expect that, since
not a surprise then.
No, not a surprise. But the citizens' concerns were eloquent. Part of
what are they most concerned about? Rates going up? Or?
Well, that's an element of it. But another part of this is compelling in a democracy. Is people go, well, what about the employees? And everybody, we want people to work. We want people to have an income. We want people to be proud of what they do during the day.
Right.
We want to be able to support families and pay mortgages. Well, is John Doe going to go from city employment with a certain wage and a certain benefit package and go to Hostetter trash disposal and have lower wages with benefits that aren't quite as nice? And that's an element too, because the sense is that they'll be going from a certain standard of living to a lower standard of living.
And the other part of it may be too, the service may not be as good. They're probably concerned about that, a decrease in service. Who knows what it would be like? We don't know yet. We're talking with George Hostetter, a journalist from the Fresno Bee that covers politics at City Hall, one of the best in the business, of course. No phone calls today. This program is on tape. We're going to be back with more of our program, and we're going to talk about the council members who are in favor of outsourcing. Back in just a moment with George.
Fasten your bones and let's twizzle.
Weeknights, do the twizzle with me.
Everybody, start in doing the twizzle. Everybody, if you're ready to sizzle, you twist a little and you twist a lot. And when you really get hot, that's the twizzle. Twizzle, twizzle.
Weeknights starting at 9/8 Central on MeTV.
Weeknights on MeTV. Who loves you, baby?
You shouldn't ask.
It's Kojak
Well, it sounds like music to my ears.
on MeTV.
Look at me.
Why do we love him?
Maybe it's the way I comb my hair.
Or maybe it's his trusty right-hand man.
More bite? Crocker! Crocker! Crocker!
But I just wanted to hear how it sounded.
Telly Savalas is Kojak.
Story of my life, baby.
Weeknights at 12:30, 11:30 Central on MeTV.
Who loves you?
Garbage, privatizing garbage is the big topic here on our program today. We're with George Hostetter, the Fresno Bee. And George, I want to put up on the screen the council members, the 4 of them, who are in favor of outsourcing. You know them well. Andreas Borges, Larry Westerlin, Lee Brandt, and Clint Olivier. There's the list on the screen there. Of the 4 that you're looking at there, they want to outsource. If there was a vote today, it would pass. They would definitely vote for it. But what's the one council member that maybe might be swayed the other way?
Well, I would say it's Council President Clint Olivier. Council President Olivier and I joke a little bit about pointing to him as perhaps the swing vote, and he's good at giving the needle to me on that. But the reason I say that is that several years ago the city outsourced commercial solid waste, and that was a very contentious issue. And it went through a variety of votes. At first, it was rejected by the council, much to the disappointment of Mayor Swearingen. And one of the key votes in that was, at the time, council member Olivier voted against it. Well, nothing's forever at City Hall, as you know. And so it came back, and commercial solid waste was approved. Now, Council President Olivier was one of the people who switched the vote. So people have memories, and
they were up in arms about it too, as I recall.
So folks, they were on one hand, opponents of outsourcing were ecstatic to see Clint say no initially, and they were very disappointed when Clint said yes. But there is that history. So perhaps Clint could be convinced or persuaded or encouraged to switch again.
Let me do a hypothetical with you. Now, you've got Andreas Borges. He's going to be out after the first of the year. He's going to be a supervisor. Larry Westerlin will no longer be there, of course, after the first of the year as well. And let's throw Mayor Swearingen in the mix here. I know she has another 4 years, but let's say they obviously approve outsourcing, and then the whole deal goes south. Rates go through the roof and this and that. Would this possibly, and I'm using a hypothetical, affect the future political careers of Andreas Borges, Larry Westerlin, and the mayor? I know they have higher aspirations. Many of them do.
Yes.
Or is that not even a factor, or what?
But I guess the point is,
who cares?
No, of course it could. Life's a mystery. I don't know what 2014 is going to be like. I don't know what the end of the week's going to be like. And so my point is that if somehow this goes askew in some way,
right?
And self-government's about corrections, changing the course of action when things go wrong. The residential trash collection service isn't the end of the world. Somehow it would get fixed.
Right. But I wonder if they're thinking about this as they're taking the vote. I wonder if the mayor is thinking about this. Gee, if this thing goes south, it could affect my career. Clint, same way. He may have higher aspirations.
I got a gut feeling,
it's
just
not going to play
guessing.
a factor, huh?
My gut feeling is that calculus obviously is part of any politician's life, but they're also thinking, what happens if this fails? There's not the $2.5 million. Paychecks bounce, and when you call up and saying, "Hey, listen, the bad guys are at my door," and police response time is
12 minutes, 14 minutes,
whatever it is. Well, now, my gut tells me that's a career killer.
Yeah. Could this be a career killer? I don't know.
But I'm going to say,
don't know.
I mean, people in the county islands, they get their trash collected. I live in a county island. I get my trash collected by a private firm. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm just saying when they do this calculation of what's going to help or hurt my career or what's my duty.
I'm sure they go like this.
But I'm sure they're also thinking, though, general fund, public safety is number one.
Right.
It's been number one in Fresno voters for since the 1880s when we were incorporated. That's the big one.
I'm hoping they think what's best for the city. I'm hoping that's the first thought in their mind.
Well,
but
sure
we don't
it is.
know.
But again, it goes back to the point again. I'm not taking sides here, but they're pitching the public safety angle, the general fund shortfall, and of course the opponents of outsourcing going, well, you're pulling a fast one there. There are ways to have public safety meet the payroll in the spring and continue to have city workers do residential solid waste.
Before we go to break, let's put up one more full screen here and information about the companies, as you will see in just a moment, George, and I want to read them off. Sunset is one of the companies, one of the four. They say to the city, well, we want to raise the rates 12 to 14%. Well, that's not one of the companies being considered. Allied says they want to decrease the rates by 3% in the north, 1% in the south. They want to increase them. Caglia, they want to decrease the rates by 6% in the north, 9% in the south, and Mid-Valley is the one that's being most considered by the city right now. They say that they can decrease the rates 16 to 18%. These are figures I got from some union members. I don't know how accurate those are. Is it possible Mid-Valley could decrease the rates 16 to 18%?
Yes, that's one of the questions from the opponents of outsourcing, saying, listen, it just makes no sense. Come on, it doesn't pass the smell test. Now, in the, I think it was the November 8th or the November 1st council meeting, Councilmember Lee Brand raised a variety of issues, and one of those was he explored this, this question you asked. Is this legit? Well, Mid-Valley put it on there so that you got to at least take them at face value. Two, Councilmember Brand goes, here's how they might be able to do that. They went out and did some due diligence, and their point was that of the 3 trash cans, there's the regular trash, there's the recyclables, and there's the green waste, and that 40% of, if I have this correct, 40% of customers don't put out their green waste every week because it's not full. And so that Mid-Valley's point is that that's where our cost savings is. We've done the due diligence. We realize that there's a savings there in labor and time because 40% of the time we're not picking up every green waste item, and that allows us to do the 16 to 18% for 2 years.
Well, maybe they'll do it every other week on the green waste. Who knows?
Well,
I mean, they could alter the schedule. I don't know.
No, it would be in the contract what the schedule would be. So they couldn't unilaterally. And again, I'm just going by what the city officials tell me. But the contract's very detailed as to what kind of services any of these providers would provide.
All right, we're talking with George Hostetter. Very important information as far as your pocketbook is concerned. Hey, who knows? I'm not taking sides either. Whether they outsource or not, whether the rates are going to go down, go up, who knows at this point? We don't know, but we're here to discuss it. It's something that could affect you. We're back with more of our conversation in just a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified #1 rated high-efficiency Cabrio from Whirlpool Place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Whirlpool Cabrio laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
Privatizing residential garbage. Boy, it's been a hot topic in the city of Fresno for a while now. And George, I want to put up the franchise fee. Mid-Valley is promising to pay the city of Fresno, you know, give or take. These figures are not exact. I've got $4 million as a franchise fee. I don't know what you're hearing, but what do you think of that?
Well, yes, $4 million in a franchise fee. I think the other 3 are somewhat similar. But
right. I think one is like $5 million.
But the key figure is, and as City Manager Mark Scott makes clear, Assistant City Manager Bruce Rudd, Public Utilities Director Patrick Weimiller in these various community meetings, is that the key figure is what's the net to the general fund. Some of this franchise fee money will go to other retained obligations. Boy, there's a mouthful, and I apologize to the viewers on that mouthful of, but that bills that have to be paid. So the net is right. $2.5 million is what they're hoping for from any of the providers to the general fund.
They're looking for $2.5 million as a net per year into the general fund. That's what they want.
That's what they want.
Yeah. Do you think they'll get it out of this deal?
Yes.
Possibly.
Well,
who knows, George?
Okay, I hate to be squishy like that and wishy-washy, but
we
yes,
just don't know.
They're counting on it. And of course, as the city folks say, and even I think the union folks acknowledge, because everyone scrubbed the books over there, is that they're looking at about a $5 million general fund deficit this year. So the 2.5, well, you know, that'll make you breathe a little easier, but it's not going to make you sleep at night.
No, it won't.
If you're a city official.
No, you'll still be awake at night
Yes,
thinking
you'll
about
still
how
be
do I
awake.
get that
So-
other 3 or 4 million.
Right.
And finally, just to close out on the garbage situation here, the city right now is currently in negotiations with Mid Valley, right?
That's what I understand.
Yeah.
Now, I think it was again at the November 8th or when they did a presentation. It looked pretty cut and dried to me. I don't know what they're negotiating, but they're negotiating something. And I think that whatever that negotiated something is coming back November 29th, and we'll get overwhelmed again by detail.
Okay, quickly, we want to say November 29th. If you're interested in this topic, one way or the other, go to the council meeting on November 29th. It's on a Thursday, like all the council meetings are. That's the council meeting vote on the intent to have privatizing the garbage situation here in the city of Fresno. And if you have any questions, hey, call the city, 621-8000. Ask for your council member or perhaps even talk to the mayor. We're going to get on to other topics here. Now, this apartment complex that you're covering this today that's going to help the homeless, will this solve or at least be a step in the right direction in helping solve the homeless problem in Fresno?
Yes.
Is it the answer, in other words?
Well, the mayor and Preston Prince at the Housing Authority, they say the key to chronic homelessness and the key to solving that problem is housing. That simple. Get people off the streets, get them into housing. It's the humanitarian thing to do, obviously. People have a roof over their head and can care for themselves or get care. At the same time, it's far less expensive to the government, i.e. the people, to have George Hostetter living in an apartment rather than
on the street, under an overpass. And
causing the stresses there, whether it's either lawlessness, which can occur, or just merely call the ambulance because I've done something for whatever reason, right? Yeah. Health care, the whole bit. So well, yes,
we know by reading the paper how many times that's happened, right?
Mm-hmm,
and to call an ambulance costs money,
thousands
of dollars.
And so then, of course, the medical issues at the hospital, and then so the whole idea is housing is, from a humanitarian and from a financial aspect, is the key. Of course, housing is expensive, right. And many of the homeless have a variety of issues that may make permanent housing
and this was one of the big priorities for the former mayor, Alan Autry. I wonder if he's smiling ear to ear, or will be today on Monday.
He may be there.
Yeah,
I may see the former mayor. Yes, Alan was. You know Alan.
Of course.
What a compassionate man. What a compassionate man. And
I hate to take sides on anything. There are two sides to every story. But doggone it, George, isn't it our obligation to help some of these people? Mm-hmm. To help the homeless, the people who have less than we do? Isn't that the natural thing to do as human beings? Compassionate?
And then the essence of a democracy is this helping others. But and the essence of democracy also is, which is part of the challenge, is that an obligation is a two-way street.
Right.
And you and I have obligations to each other. But when you deal with our fellow man who may have drug problems, may have alcohol problems, may have mental illness problems, over and above the cause of some homelessness, which is economic, which is relatively easy to fix. But if you have then those issues where mutual obligations may not quite register because of the mental illness,
right.
How do you deal with that in an effective way? And that's the challenge facing all of us.
Right. What an appropriate time to have the opening, because it's right near Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving week. George, sadly, we're out of time, but I'd like you to come back and, you know, I know you'll be at the vote on the 29th on that garbage issue.
Yes, I will be. Okay, John, thank you for having me.
I highly respect you and have for many years. Thank you for coming on.
It was mutual, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. George Hostetter, our guest on this Monday. We're back tomorrow with more of Connect with Me. We're going to talk to the Salvation Army, the person from the Salvation Army tomorrow, and also Andy Souza from the Food Bank as we get closer to the holidays. Back tomorrow.